Holy smokes. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay guys, so initial test is going to be in the yard here, and just in my little kid pool there for Sanaya. She likes to swim in that. Just cleaned it, so she actually helped me clean it, so it's really nice and clean right now. But just really quick before we get this thing up in the air for the initial flight and water test, I wanted just to show you, I forgot to show you guys in the unboxing, pretty cool little SD card system here. I was thinking, oh no, it's just going to kind of slide and be in there with tension, but actually once you put your SD card in, looks like it may need some finagling to get back out. I haven't tried to take it out yet, so keep that in mind. When you put it in, it actually does have a click, so you just push and you're going to hear that click, kind of how it is on other drones like DJI and stuff. So it does have a good click and seat position there. To get this thing up in the air, all we're doing is plugging in the battery, being careful not to hit that power button yet. Want to push in that battery nice and tight. Make sure you inspect the seal around the actual lid here and also inside, because there is some silicone grease that could attract some dirt and dust. And of course we don't want that to leak in the water, right? So we put the back under that notch first, and then we're going to push the top in, and then we're just kind of pushing in the sides and the top just to make sure everything is nice and sealed, and then twist locking this little latch lock there so the whole top is sealed up, and we're ready to go. It doesn't really matter, but usually you want to turn on your controllers first, so just pushing it until we see SwellPro there on the front on the screen. And I've already done the compass. It's pretty easy. All you're doing is when you turn it on, you're just doing when it's on. Let's just turn it on first. I'm not going to actually do the compass calibration here, but all you do is you put the throttle all the way down and you just flip the GPS circle plate and ADDI button really fast a few times, and then you're going to see on the actual FPV screen, it's going to tell you what to do, and you just have to rotate it horizontally and then turn it vertical and then rotate it horizontally again. So really simple for the compass calibration. This isn't really a good place to calibrate it because you see I have metal here from the trampoline, I have Wi-Fi from my house all around. So really do that calibration maybe in like your yard, if you have a larger yard away from all metal objects, or even like at the park initially, or if you're going like long distances and flying from, like, I live in Hawaii, so if I was to fly to the mainland, before I fly there, I'd want to calibrate the compass. So we're ready to go. We've got 13 satellites already I can see on the screen here. I want to pick this camera up. It looks like the camera initiates pointing down a bit, so you're always going to have to kind of bring it up to horizon level with these two buttons. It's not going to launch in GPS mode until it has 6 satellites, so I already have 13th, so no problem. The reason for that is it wants to, once you launch and you arm, it logs the home point. So if you ever do flip into return to home or lose connection, it wants to have a good enough coordinate to actually come back with the most precision possible. So I usually like to let it sit there for like a minute or two even before I launch. So we're ready to go. I'm in GPS mode. We'll try that first, and all we want to do is pull the sticks in. I think you can do in or out. There we go. So for some reason I don't have the propellers to spin. I think you can actually also adjust that in the flight controller I was talking about in my unbox, where you can plug this into your PC kind of like you would for beta flight, and you can adjust it on the ground station software if you want those props to always be spinning. All I need to do is push up in GPS mode. Okay, so as far as the breeze goes today, I am getting about maybe 5 coming from my back right now. So you can see that the stability is definitely not going to be as good as like a, you know, Mavic DJI drone at all, because it doesn't have any of the advanced sensors. All it's using for its height is a barometer inside, and it's waterproof, so it's really hard for that barometer to work. But since I lifted it up to this height, I haven't touched the throttle, and that's kind of what it's doing. A little bit of wind, it's kind of fluctuating up and down, kind of like what the SwellPro Splash Drone 2 did. I think they're still working on kind of tweaking the software, and they did tell me, SwellPro did tell me it's going to get better. But I want to go ahead and start recording. So there we go. That was a photo. I just pressed that button there. I'm going to click and hold that button. And then I heard actually a couple beeps, and now I see there's a red arrow or a red dot blinking that it's recording in 2K. Looks like it's recording at 60 frames per second, so I'll have that video up on there if I did get it up there. But this test is mainly just for, I'm not going to really fly it around too much in the yard, guys. The wind's actually coming up pretty crazy now. This initial test, I just wanted to make sure that it can be waterproof so that when we do go in the ocean, it will not leak. So let's bring it over to the pool real quick. Again, it's not as stable as something like a DJI drone, but that's just because it doesn't have those advanced sensors. So we're going over to the pool. You can probably hear that wind. Now it's feeling like it's about 10 miles per hour coming from that direction. So I'm still in GPS mode, and I'm going to drop it in the water and see what happens. So from about this height, actually let's go down and take it kind of easy at first, just so we can make sure no water's going to get in there. And the way this works is, you see how I landed, but I can still kind of push up and down and kind of go forward and back. If I pull the stick all the way down for a few seconds, it'll disarm. So I pull the stick down for about 3 seconds, and you see how I have no more throttle response. If we wanted to rearm, of course we can go both sticks in again or out. I think it's in or out. There we go. That time the propeller's kind of spun up. So doing good so far. Just trying to float. Let's drop it from a little bit of height. This is maybe like 4 or 5 feet. Full throttle down. So, okay. And if you don't disarm it in the water, you can still kind of fly in the water. What's cool about this one too is it has those flight modes. So what I'm going to do, I can kind of turn it and I can move it around while it's in the water. Actually, let's move the camera down. So I'm tilting the camera down to see the bottom of the pool. Of course, nothing really to see down there, but so you can have the camera in the water as you're flying it around. You can have your FPV goggles on and be doing this. Now I'm going to tilt the camera back up. I'm just holding that upward camera movement, and then I want to get that little filter in the video, so I'm going to turn the drone so I can see the filter. And again, this is that stabilized electronic stabilization. Hopefully it's doing that, so we'll see how good that is. Okay, so let's launch again, pushing up. Again, this is in GPS mode, and in GPS mode you can't flip it, right? So if I push full right stick forward, you see how that's as fast as it's going to go, and it's not going to tilt over. But everybody that has a race drone wants to use Acro mode, right? So like I said in my unboxing, if you go into the flight controller software and hook it up to your computer, you can turn this into Acro mode. So check this out. We'll set it on the water, we'll disarm it, just holding down the left stick until we know we can't have any more throttle. And then I set my ATTI mode here to Acro, so I'm going to pull it all the way down. If you leave it stock in attitude mode, it doesn't GPS lock when you fly, but it will try to maintain its altitude. So that's all attitude mode is. You can fly really fast, but it just has no GPS lock when you let off the sticks. It'll still return to home and everything with GPS, but just during flying you won't have that GPS lock instability. So I'm going to switch all the way down to attitude mode, which I have set to manual, and let's see how this works. So I'm going to arm the motors. Looks like if it doesn't arm down and in, you need, whoa, that time it did. Let's see if we have full, yes we do. Whoa, this is full manual, guys. So I should be able to do flips and everything. And remember, full manual does not self-level. So if I pull it back, it's going to keep going back until I push forward, just like Acro mode. So let's try to flip it. So I'm going to do a right flip. Holy smokes. Oh, careful, careful, careful. Wow. So it's really touchy because it's in Acro mode in the water. Whoa, we can do full flips. What? Oh yeah. Whoa, okay. So we have it flipped over. I don't want it to damage my pool, so I have the throttle all the way down. I'm also getting splashing on my controller. We'll see if this can handle it. So now you see how I'm disarmed. Let me get it away from the wall here. So I'm disarmed. Now it's like, okay, I'm upside down. What do I do? Maybe I have my FPV goggles on. All we need to do is arm again. Let's try it. Arming. Let's try both. There we go. Whoa! So I just I just armed it. Whoa! Okay, you're gonna have to be careful like around things though. I'm holding down the throttle again so it disarms. So did you see that? When I armed it and gave it some throttle, you can still fully control it. It's like it has no horizon whatsoever. So you still have full control. Let me arm it again. Again, this is in there we go. Acro mode. Let's try some more flips. I'm just gonna get kind of crazy with it, and then we'll check the water. Wow. Awesome. So you can fly all around. Say you want to like get some cool footage underwater while you're submerging it, flipping it over. Whoa! It's actually moving. That was cool. Okay, it was actually just like a submarine just going for it. I just disarmed it. I want to arm it again. There we go. No, don't hit the wall. Okay. Let's try some underwater flips and stuff. Whoa! I hope no water's getting in it. I'm just gonna keep doing this to this battery. Flipping and stuff. Awesome. Oh, yikes! Watch out. Wow, I can even control it under the water. That's cool. Holy smokes. You just have to be, since it does have the left throttle is spring loaded when you're in acro mode, keep in mind that when you let off the throttle, watch what happens. It's giving it a little bit of throttle, right? So just be careful in acro. You're gonna need to pull that down a little bit so the propellers don't spin as fast. Usually in acro drones and race drones, you have no spring in the throttle, but it needs that spring for the GPS mode in this one. So we're just gonna keep just like ravaging it in the water here. Wow, just doing like flips. Look at this. Okay, we're upside down. All you need to do is let off the throttle. Wow. Let's try that again. Okay, upside down. And we just flip right back, just using our right stick. As long as we don't hold down on the throttle for too long, it won't disarm. So I'm holding on the throttle. Now I'm gonna let go of the throttle and give it some left stick, right stick. You can just do loops. Holy smokes. They really did fix their flipping issue underwater. Okay, again, disarm. See, no throttle. Okay, upside down, perfect scenario again. Let's try to arm, and I want to flip it. So I just armed it and gave it some throttle, and now I'm back up. Now I'm flying again. Remember, this is acro. If at any moment you panic out, check this out. Any moment you're like, oh, I don't want to fly acro, switch it up to GPS. I just flip that switch on the right, and now it self-levels, and it has full GPS and barometer usage. So I have just regular GPS mode, and it's working just fantastic. Again, a little bit of fluctuation in the height, but SwellPro did say that they're working on that. Maybe it's a little too sensitive on the barometer for the internal pressure, since it is waterproof. So that's, now we're in GPS mode. Whoa, did you see that there? So you're gonna have to kind of give it a little throttle even in GPS mode to kind of stabilize the height, it looks like. But so that's full GPS, and at any time, well, now it's going up on its own. Okay, so something maybe they need to work on. It seems like the pressure is just building inside of it. Again, at any time I can switch down. If I set my mode to acro, switching all the way down. I'm in acro mode now. Look at that. From GPS right to acro at any moment. Oh, this is awesome. Flipping, submerging. I can do anything in the water. I can fly. like crazy in the water. Whoa, getting disoriented. A little disoriented here. I want to switch in the GPS. Boom. And I don't have any more crazy acro problems at all. And it's still armed. Look at this. I can push up and it's still armed. I don't have to worry about trying to level it with my finger because it's in self-leveling again. Fantastic, man. I wonder if I try to flip it in, whoa. Try to flip it in GPS. You can't flip it in GPS. I don't think you can. Maybe if you like hit a wave, we'll have to test that in the ocean, come in really quick and just nail a wave. So I just disarmed it by holding down the stick. Awesome, man. I'm gonna do a little bit more acro stuff and then we're gonna check the inside for any water. But so far this thing is doing really well. Okay, back in acro. Whoa. Just do some flips again. Oh yeah, the controller is supposed to be waterproof too, right? Back into GPS. So we can't flip it anymore in the water. So I'm back in the GPS. I'm gonna kind of come back a little towards me. Let me try this. Let me disarm it. And I'm gonna throw this controller in the water. Check this out. I hope I don't break it. Make sure all the ports are sealed up here. All the screws are tight on the switches and the antennas are tight. And here we go. There it is. It's just floating in the water. And I actually kind of like, that there's some pressure in here. These sticks pop up as it gets warm inside the controller because you know that it's sealed. There's no air going in or out. So look at this, I'm underwater with it. Keep in mind this is fresh water, guys. And just getting like maybe a little bit of steam, but there's no water in there. It's just like there's maybe some condensate. So maybe hopefully they put maybe those desiccant packs in there, or desiccant packs, you know, those silica packs, so it can absorb some condensation or something. But it seems to float. The controller is floating and the drone is disarmed. Without touching the drone, let's see if we can rearm. This will give us a good indication if any water got in this controller and it's malfunctioning. So we'll rearm. Again, we're in GPS mode. Both sticks in, there we go. That time it armed. And we're gonna just lift off in GPS. Yeah, we're flying as normal. Of course, this wind's coming up again, remember. Fantastic, man. It does seem to be just working perfect. And look at these motors are handling too. They're just getting nailed in the water, but they're... Oh, that time it almost flipped. I want to see what happens if we flip in GPS. Let's see if we can do that. Man, it's really hard. Oh. Man, it just won't let me flip in GPS. Oh, I can't flip it in GPS. Okay. I guess that'll be a test for the ocean. Back into acro mode. That easy. Now we can just do whatever we want. This is insane. Imagine flying this with FPV goggles and just having like a blast. Gotta be a little touchy with it in acro because you really lose orientation, especially in the water. Go ahead and get it up. There we go, in acro. Still. Yeah, so just be careful in acro. It is acro, so hard for beginners. Flip. Let's try keep it out of the water when we do a flip. Nice. There we go. That was an acro flip. Landing back in the water. It's just awesome. Wow. You can go down quite far in acro mode. So arming again, I held down the stick for a while. Whoa, it's going all the way to the bottom. Let's see what happens if I just leave it. So it looks like you are going to need to kind of put in some input to get it back. Like if you just flip it and let go, it's just going to keep going down, then it will float up, but it might not end up back on right side up. So it looks like you are going to, you know, possibly need to put in some right stick input. Let's try that again. So I'm just letting go, and it just stuck itself to the ground until it kind of, oh wait a minute, no, that time it did it by itself. It went down, back up, and then it flipped itself in Acro. Cool. So really easy to move around the surface in Acro. Look at this. It's just really touchy. Back into GPS. Boom. Nice and easy. Let's drop it from super high in Acro. Well, maybe not super high, but let's try GPS first at about 15 feet. Full throttle down. You can see how it gives it, propellers are still spinning a bit when you do drop it. Let me arm it again. If sticks and in doesn't work, just use sticks and out, down and out. Okay, into Acro. Now, if I cut the throttle in Acro, it should just drop. Ready? Whoa, the wind. Ah. Ready, set, go. Boom. Flip it a little bit. Yeah. This is awesome. I think you did it, SwellPro. Boom. Ooh, that was nice. That was like a rear ending right into the water. Try a forward. Ooh. Again, we want to be careful of the side of the pool there. Come on. Okay, so I just disarmed it because I was holding it down for too long. Rearm. Down and out. There we go. Come back towards me. Okay guys, well I think that's kind of enough abusing it in this pool, right? We're just like hammering it. Leather flip. Yeah. Just really just, I'm gonna just try to keep pressing forward. Look at this, wow. Let's try, oh, this will be cool. Watch this test. Okay, I'm hearing some beeping. It went away though. It looks like when you get all crazy with it, it starts to beep. Let's try this, full throttle, and just keep like somersaulting to the right. Holy smokes. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? That's awesome. It's still working. I think it was getting like little overload messages on the FPV screen. Let's try it forward. Do that forward. Ready? Ooh. Holy smokes. And you can just flip it over easily. So it's just getting little motor overload issues, but it looks like it's smart enough where it'll cut the motors if it does start to overload them. It'll just temporarily turn the motor off, it seems like, until it gets kind of back. Got another one. Yeah. Uh-oh. That was weird sounding. Did you hear that? I was like, meh, meh. Uh-oh. Okay, shut off. Let's turn it back into GPS mode and try to turn it off real quick. Make sure it's off. Yes. Okay, that was a little weird. Let's see if we're having possibly some issues. Did the controller turn off? Yeah, the controller turned off for some reason. Okay, well I just turned it back on and it looks like we're A-okay. Anyway, let's see if we can rearm. I think what happened is the controller for some reason shut off. Now I'm back in GPS. Yeah, so I'm fine. Back in GPS. Let's go back into Acro. Yeah, so I can still control it. Okay. Well, it seems like it's working. Okay, so let me go ahead and shut this down. Let's bring it over here to a dry area and see if there's any water in here. I don't see any water at all in the inside lens. Okay, why is this thing beeping at me? Oh, it's because the voltage is low. We're down to 10.2 volts. So I think that's what happened. But I don't know why the controller shut off. That was a little bit weird. So anyway, let's shut this thing down. Shut down the controller. And let's just check if we have any water anywhere. I'm gonna dry all this stuff off. And first thing we wanna do is open this up, right? So we'll blow off any of the water around the edges. Okay. Just so we don't get any droplets in there when we open it up. And just opening this thing up. 2 fingers here. Pulling it open. A little bit of a droplet on the edge. I don't want that to fall in. So let's see what we got. So the test will be if we have any. Wow, nothing. It's dry as can be in there. Nope, that's just water dripping from the motors. So we really put that thing through a pretty rigorous water test there, and there's not even anything in there, which is how it should be. Again, in the water, this is going to be cooling it, right? Because this is like its heat sink. And let me just check if there's maybe any water sitting in the lens here. This will be a good check. Man, like right when I touched it from the heat, it's like it got some condensation. So it may be a good idea, I don't know, if they could put some silica just for that, you know, internal condensation. Some kind of like silica pack in there. But yeah, there's no water in the craft whatsoever. Zero. It's looking really good. Really, they did it, guys. Basically, SwellPro kind of did it. They created a waterproof FPV drone with GPS, bottom line, and a tiltable camera. So it's working great. Really awesome that you can choose Acro mode if you want to configure the ADI or any other flight mode to Acro mode. You can do that. That's full manual. Great how you can move the camera up and down. I will have had the video up. If it did record, it seemed like it stopped recording when the controller went off. And that's the only thing. I don't know why the controller went off when I was flipping it like crazy. I have no idea why that happened. Let me try to turn it on again. I'm getting the SwellPro screen. It looks good. So apparently there's no issue. It just turned off for some reason. What I want to do is I want to open this port, and if there's any water that drips out, then we'll know that water got in there somehow from our testing. Let's see what we got. Anything? Nope. So completely dry in there. So they did it. SwellPro has made this thing super waterproof, and it works. What else can we say about it? I do like, again, I keep saying this, but I do like how these things puff out a little bit when it heats up in there, because you know that no air is getting through. So if you do power this thing up and you don't see these stick things puffing up a little bit, you know that maybe you have a leak or a hole in one of your seals, and you may want to check that. So I do like that little indicator, even though it looks kind of weird when they puff out a little bit. That is a good little indicator to have. My only concern would be maybe I'm wondering how these are doing. Looks like there's no water inside there at all. So apparently they did seal this up somehow. Even the antennas, you can see that little rubber washer there on the actual male side. And then we're just screwing on the antenna and making sure it's seating on that rubber. So apparently the water is not getting passed into the connection, which is good. Controller was waterproof too. You saw me throw it in there and everything still flies. So as advertised so far, they just need to kind of work on their hovering if they can. But again, that's really hard when you have a sealed craft like that and you have this little breathable diaphragm. So I guess that's going to be kind of the thing to figure out, is how do you make a barometer work in a waterproof craft? I don't know how you do that. Waterproof optical flow sensors or sonic sensor to see the ground or see the water. Until somebody can do that, That's gonna kind of be the hard thing to figure out on altitude hold on these waterproof crafts. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that initial cool little pool test. That was super fun. I mean, we were really just hammering it there in the pool. Oh my gosh, and it actually performed better than I thought it would. And you can really get wild in that Acro mode. Remember how I put it in the Acro mode and it was just flipping all over the place? That was really cool. So they have something really cool here. If it recorded that 2.7K, I'll just have that up just so you guys can see what the video is like and all that thrashing. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a really good time. This was really fun. Just make sure you do seal this thing up before you throw it in the water. Again, guys, links in the description down below. This is a Kickstarter campaign from SwellPro. It's just about to end, and you can get this thing, I believe, from their website after that. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the ocean test of the SwellPro SPRY.